thegearnetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
This is AC Slade, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers, and welcome back to the All Bets Are Off podcast. Today, my special guest is Leone. This interview was so much fun. She is a giant ball of energy, and I sincerely hope that you guys like this interview as much as I liked doing it. So you guys may know Leather from her long and storied career. She kickstarted things off in the 80s with Chastain, with their first release coming in 1985. She also took a 20-year hiatus from music, and that is just wild to me. But she's going to get into all that. I'm not going to spoil the interview for you guys. And to anybody who is not familiar, Leather is one of the pioneers in women's rock and metal. And if you haven't heard of her, stick around, check it out. You're going to be a fan after this. And make sure to follow her on all social media, which she will plug at the end of this interview. So we are going to listen to one of her songs right now. And this one is called We Take Back Control. So first thing I want to do is just say thank you so much for being here. I'm going to tell the audience now that we've already kind of started and I didn't hit record yet. So we're just going to keep rolling.
Let's go. Because everybody knows I can talk and talk and talk. So it's all good.
So you're from my neck of the woods originally, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm from outside of Rochester, cow country, ABAO, New York. Still more cows than people probably. I think the McDonald's was probably put there like 20 years ago. So yeah, it's a small town.
So how often, if at all, do you come back to this area?
I try to get to my mom and my brother out there, but unfortunately I'm only doing it like once a year now. When I was touring, I got there all the time, but I definitely once a year, one to twice a year to see them.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Now, speaking of touring, if I have this right, did you just recently come back from Brazil?
Yes.
All right, let's talk about it.
I have been crazy. I built a relationship with Brazil in 2014. That's where they want me. That's where I go. And my band is Brazilian. So yeah, Brazilians are insane. Metal is in their blood. I just did Summer Breeze and April Rock. Yeah, it was really good. I haven't been on the road since 2019. So it's a really, really big deal for me. But through this, I got hooked up with some booking agent. So hopefully it will improve, I'm not Vixen, motherfucker. So it's been hard. It's been rough. I was on a good roll pre-COVID. And then, of course, everybody got behind Metallica, Megadeth. Vixens. People need to make up all that insurance money that they lost. I understand. So I was put on the back for a bit, but I'm coming back now. So it feels good.
That's excellent. That's really cool to hear. Now, you said you're originally from outside of Rochester, New York, and then you made the big move to California in the very early 80s. So what was the inspiration there? Why were you just like, fuck it, I'm going?
Because I was just getting high. I was doing nothing. And I had trained horses with a friend of mine, and she got in touch with me and she said, come out to Berkeley, just come out and see me. And Robbie, back then it was like $75 to go out. And I went out there and I knew that I wanted to sing, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do. And back in the day, I don't know how old you are, but they used to put posters on telephone poles. And one day I saw a poster that they wanted a metal singer. So I went, and that's when I got into Rude Girl. So I never left. And that was 82, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Tell me about Rude Girl. So that was the first venture that you were in when you were in LA, and you were a part of that scene.
No, not LA. I was north. I was San Francisco.
You were San Francisco. Okay.
Oh, I was Metallica, not Poison, although I love them all. But, I went there and I auditioned in, I love them all, a bunch of chicks trying to be really hardcore. And I sang a rock and roll, the Annie Wilson version. And they looked at me and said, "Hey, do you know who Bon Scott is?" And I said, "I do." They said, "Can you try to sing like that?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I couldn't, but I knew in that moment that my voice wanted to go there. So that was my introduction. And then I got introduced to Dio, and I met Dio. And so 82 is a big metal year for me, but I was not a metal person before that at all.
Okay, so that kind of segued into my next question, which was going to be, who was inspiring you at that time before you tried out for Rude Girl?
I was listening to Fleetwood Mac and Heart and Elton John and Ambrosia and Boston. I was from upstate New York, so it was arena rock, the Fog Hats. Yeah, and I always loved it, but I knew that it wasn't enough. But I didn't know about anything more aggressive. And then I moved to the Bay Area. Hello. Yeah. I used to rehearse down the street from Metallica, so I was just getting bits and pieces of what I really wanted to do,
Oh, wow. Okay. Very cool. So how long were you with Rude Girl at this point?
Jesus, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. And, it was wonderful when I think back. But now that I realize it, and I'm old, it was all nostalgia. We were all girls. I was, being courted by CBS and Black Sabbath people and blah, blah, blah. But as time went on, I realized that it was just nostalgia. And they wanted to do this whole creation, which I still would have done. But I have a really freaky thing about time. So I really appreciate that you were here early. I am not from LA. When you say 4:00, it's not fucking 4:20. And I was at our lawyer's office, and I was there for like 45 minutes. We were going to sign the contract, 7-record deal with CBS, and there was no band. So I was like, fuck you. And wow. I walked out. Yeah, I walked out.
Did you really? Okay. So yeah. Now what path does that take your career from there, from that moment that you just told me about?
Well, when I first moved to San Francisco, back in the day, Robbie, people would come looking for you. Labels came looking, agents came looking. So I was in a pizza place, and Mike Varney from Shrapnel Records, his people were there going, "We're looking for you." So it was different. The relationship was different. So I had become friends with Mike Varney. So, and he obviously used to make a joke saying that I was going to put another Mercedes in his garage. So, so he actually wanted to sign Rude Girl, but I heard CBS, and I'm like, no. So I just called him. I called him right away, and he hooked me up with David Chastain probably within 3 months from then.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I may be, but did you take a 20-year hiatus from music?
I think it was longer than that, yeah.
It was longer than that, really?
Yeah. Look, Chastain folded. It was no big dramatic thing. We just weren't, for those who dare, was on a major label, and blah, it just wasn't progressing. And David Chastain had a different idea of what he wanted to do. I wanted to tour. He didn't. So we were getting some offers, I think, that he turned down. So I went home for a while. And as I say, it was the days of cocaine, champagne, and caffeine. So I went home for a while, and I tried to get into more aggressive bands. That was when I really, Exodus and all those people, and everybody laughed at me. Yeah, you're a chick. Fuck you. So I met with labels. I was blessed enough to be able to meet with them, but nobody was interested in leather. They wanted me to be something different, more sexual, more poppy, whatever. And I didn't care about being famous. I don't care. So yeah, I walked away.
But for a while there, Chastain aside, you were just going as you, right? Like before you walked away.
No. I did one solo record because it was kind of like a deal from Roadrunner. It's so funny. Speaking of Roxy, during that time when I was doing nothing, I don't remember who reached out to me, but I was actually doing demos for Vixen. So it was funny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, I walked away. It wasn't that important to me. I just walked away. I didn't start doing leather really until 2014.
Okay. So I have it written down over here. So if this is correct, you took your hiatus starting around like 1989, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I said bye-bye, yeah.
Wow. That's impressive that you came back to it. So what brought you back?
It is impressive, right? That anybody even gives a shit. I came back because of the loss of Ronnie Dio. He was, it's not like we talked all the time. He was a mentor. Oh my God, he was so much to me. And when I found out he was sick and then he was gone, I went to LA and I, did the services and stuff. And I can remember being at Forest Hills where he's buried in this magnificent sunset, whatever. And I can just remember thinking to myself, this is the one gift that I had been given. What, you're doing nothing. The one gift. So I kind of felt like an idiot. So I got back into it after that for him, for Wendy, I wanted to see if I could still do it. So I was inspired, like 2011. Yeah.
Wow. And well, clearly you can still do it because you're still doing it now.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you have a long list, like a long discography, with as long as you've been in the music business. If I asked you right now, if you could pick one of your favorite releases, do you think you could do it?
Yeah. The latest one, We Are the Chosen.
Okay.
It's the first one that I ever I wrote it from start to finish with Vinnie Tex, my guitar player. I was in all the production. It was the first one that I delved into. I always kind of, like the quote from Ozzy where he said, "Hey, I just learned my parts. I recorded them. I walked out," which is what I would do. And then I would bitch about the production. So it was really important for me to do this. And it was like my first major label. So yeah, We Are the Chosen. I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
If you had to pick a track from that record to tell people, hey, check this out, what's the thing that you think opens the door to the rest of your discography?
Probably We Take Back Control, the first song. It's the first song that Vinny and I wrote, and I was pissed. So it was good.
Now, in that 20-year gap before you start, performing and recording again, are you still keeping your chops up musically to yourself? Wow,
No.
you walked away just completely.
That's my personality. I'm kind of like a bitch that way. Like if I don't like you tomorrow, I'm very immature. No, nothing. I stopped going to shows. Of course, that was pre-social media. I did nothing. I partied a lot.
Well, so that must have been a huge change for you then. So when you come back, you go like you were saying earlier, it's the days of like flyers on telephone poles, and then you come back and it's starting to become the dawn of like Facebook and Instagram and how you market yourself on YouTube and all these other things. So was that difficult for you to navigate, or did you just jump right in?
No, I jumped in because of my ego. I think it made me realize that the whole feminine movement, whatever, had really moved forward. It was like, yo. So my ego really helped me jump right into it. And you know what? It was a big deal. Chastain was a big deal. And I just wanted to prove it to myself that I could still do it. And I wanted to welcome everybody. I was so happy about the progression of metal. And I jumped right into it.
Okay. So did you find yourself, you said because of your ego, so this may be a question that's kind of like not, but were you surprised? Like, oh my God, people are like into it. They're ready for me to be back.
Extremely. That I'm so grateful. I take none of that for granted, but I keep forgetting, kind of like Roxy. We were at the beginning of this thing that I keep forgetting. Jesus, I came out in 85. Doro was 84. I forget that it was not commonplace. And we weren't trying to be, I just did a big interview. Oh my God, did you accomplish? But we weren't trying to be rock stars. We didn't want it. We just wanted to make music like Priest. Like anybody. We were talented, but I really, really was surprised. It was great. I'm still surprised. I just did Summer Breeze and then I just cry like a bitch. I just walk on stage, cry like. Yeah, it's really cool that people have hung on to the Chastain thing, but it's the songs that he wrote. So grateful always. Yeah.
I heard through the grapevine while you were in Brazil too that you found a Vixen t-shirt.
Listen, we went into the store because everybody knows me there. It's like rock star land for me. And it was like this creepy horror, like, Jason photos and everywhere. And I'm like, and there was a Vixen shirt in the middle of all of it. So yeah, I did that.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So back to your most recent release, which again, you said is We Are the Chosen. That was in 2022.
Yes.
So what can we expect coming for you next? Are you doing another record? Are you doing singles? What are you thinking about?
I'm starting to, we're talking about it now, but I got to tell you, the studio and myself are not friends. I just want to tour. So my concentration has been that now that things are opening up for me for next year. That's really, Vinny's going to get upset with me, but that's really my main focus. I just want to get out and play. But yeah, SPV does want another record, so I will of course do that. But I just want to tour. God, I want to tour so badly.
Well, with the discography that you have, you can tour. You could tour forever. Like,
well, I mean, it's funny. I was like, I don't want to do Chastain. People want to hear Chastain, so
yeah.
And I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I have it. So that's what I've been doing.
Well, you did that right up until 2019.
I guess I kind of did. I put out a record called Leather too, but yeah, I know. I really have done that. I don't know what my big deal about it is now. And I guess, again, I'm blessed to all of that. Like, I'm sure Roxy is like, how many times do they have to play Edge of a Broken Heart? But no, I'm blessed, but I want to play live. I think that's what I do best. I mean, that's just what I do best. It's the only place I feel at home. And like I said, the studio is not my friend. But yeah, I want to do some shows. But yes, we're writing, of course, writing. Yeah.
Well, I guess my next question would be then, with the career that you've had, and you keep talking about, wanting to play. Do you have any bucket list festivals or places that
I want to do Wacken before I fucking die?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so many stages. I was talking to Lorraine about that a little while. I mean, there's so many stages. Just throw me on Wacken. Yeah, I really want to do Wacken. I think about it all the time.
That's the top of your list right now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey, anybody listening to this right now, share it around. Like, let's make this go viral so that, you know what I mean?
I mean, don't they have like 4 or 5 stages? Just throw me on one.
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still dealing with the stigma that, there's a lot of festivals that won't take me because there's no David Chastain. And that's okay. That's okay. I will continue to work hard. And it's funny, I was just having that conversation with him, and he can understand it. You're Leather. Yeah, but you're Chastain. They want to see you. So. Yeah, but I'll keep fighting. I'm grateful for anything, like you said, that anybody even wants to. I have a joke that they want to hear the songs that I did in 1927, right? I mean, God bless you.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Let me just pull up this discography here. I see Chastain, 1985.
That was the first one, Mystery of Illusion.
Mystery of Illusion.
Yeah,
and people are still asking you for songs off of that, right?
Yes, I do Mystery of Illusion, and people go. I was saying to Vinny, I don't think so. And people go crazy. Then we do I've Seen Tomorrow, which I think is off. Yeah. Again, I was so blessed. And it was David Chastain back in the day was a smart person. He did these distribution deals that went out all over the world. Mm-hmm. We made no money. We got ripped off, but now I can go tour these countries. Yeah. And a lot of my friends in bigger bands can't do it because people couldn't get their music. So
that makes complete sense. And now you're reaping the rewards of that. And now, do you find yourself also, because you mentioned like bands like Dio and Priest and Ozzy, do you do any covers?
I don't. God, people have been on me about that a lot lately. I do not. I did Barracuda one time because a road runner made me. I don't. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you should do Dio. You should do Dio. And this is my childish thing about that. I can't do Dio any better. So I'm not a cover person. If I was going to do a cover, it would have to be like a Madonna song, something totally like Doro just did the place in my heart with Halford. That's how you do covers. Something totally bizarre. Yeah, I'm not a cover person.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call that childish or whatever. I would just call that knowing that Dio's fucking great.
Everyone said Queensryche, Maiden, and Dio. It's like, I'll leave that. It's okay. It's funny. I did, when I was first coming back, I was in the studio to see if I could sing anymore. And me and my friends did Egypt. And somehow it got leaked out. Oh, God. But yeah, I don't do it. Wow. And I was just actually in Brazil with some people. And they were like, let's do Mob Rule. I'm like, I don't know Mob Rules. I don't know. I just saw myself out.
Yeah. I mean, I get like that too, though. People see that you're a rock and roller and they're like, oh, do this song. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. And, I know a lot of people do. I don't know. It's just something that's not in me to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely fair.
Yeah.
Now, over your span of time, have you've played with a lot of other bands, a lot of other people. Is there anybody that stands out to you as like a favorite band that you've played with? Not so much that you were singing for, but just somebody that maybe was on the same bill.
No.
How about bands that you'd like to?
Oh, well, geez, yeah. I mean, come on. I would love to play with Vixen. I'd love to play with Iron Maiden. I actually had a Diano tour that unfortunately just got postponed because of his health. God, I have something in the works that I can't talk about. But look, this is my thing. I know my place in metal. So I would like to open for anybody bigger than me. I have a couple things actually in the works that I can't talk about. I'm not fussy. I know my place and I'm a great opener. I totally understand it. I can sing for a half hour in front of anybody. Of course, Ronnie, but Ronnie's not here anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you mentioned that you got some things in the works that you can't talk about. Is there anything coming up that you can tell us about just yet?
No.
All right. That's fair. We're not going to push any buttons. If it's no, it's no.
Yeah. So, and I don't want to jinx anything, but like I said, it's finally happening for me. But, I have to wait. I don't have the beauty of patience. I have a really hard time. It's like, I just emailed you 20 minutes ago. Where the fuck are you? So it's really hard for me. It's like, it's me. It's Leather.
I was so happy when you were like, I'm ready now. I was like, oh, good. Thank God. I love starting early.
Yeah. I have such a hard time with that. I got to tell, I was doing an interview this morning and it was supposed to be like at 10:03. I was gone. Dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
10:03. We're out. Talk to me or we're out. Yeah.
I want to know your secret for having the insane amount of energy you have right now.
I don't know. Everybody says that to me. I don't know.
So there's no secret potion. There's nothing. Okay.
No.
All right. Because I'm exhausted and you are just so full of life.
I know. I was just in Brazil and my band, they're all in their 30s and I was like, oh, I got a nap. I'm tired. You're in your 30s, motherfucker.
Guilty.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I have a really hard time sleeping, which is not good for a vocalist. I sleep like every 3 days. And I really started going to the gym again today, like full force. So maybe that does it. I don't know. But I'm just always wound up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Makes for a great stage presence, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. All right. So here's the part in the interviews that I like to do where I just ask you just a quick series of questions that are just this or that.
Okay.
And you just wherever you want to take it, you could take it. You can get weird with it. You could be quick. I don't care. Like this is just for you.
Okay.
So first question is Chicago or New York style pizza?
Oh my God, New York style. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. I love that answer. How about comedies or horror movies?
Horror! Yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Probably Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead.
Great choice. Now, what about your favorite killer, like slasher?
I don't know. I haven't really watched a kill, but I like all the Scream movies. Maybe Scream 2.
All right, so we'll say Ghostface is your favorite slasher.
Yeah.
Now let's say you're going through the Bermuda Triangle. Are you going to take a plane or a boat?
A boat.
Why?
Because I want to be. It seems like they get into more trouble here. I want to see the evil, the horror. I want to be part of it. I want to watch it come out of the ground. Yeah, I want to be more present, which doesn't mean it would be, but I feel more grounded in the water. Yeah.
All right. Now, how about this? You're at a concert. Would you rather see a drum solo or a bass solo?
Oh, probably drum.
Drum solo is a good answer.
Yeah. I was just talking to my friend Johnny D, so drum solo. Yeah.
All right. Now, I think I know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
Okay.
Halloween or Christmas?
Oh, Halloween.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought. No, so before we actually started recording, you asked me about the wrestling thing. So are you a wrestling fan?
No, but I would be a fan of yours. I was so excited when I saw that because I'd love to go to one of those things. And of course, the Hulk and the guy that has the band, that hot guy that has
Chris Jericho.
Oh,
Chris
Jericho. Yeah.
So it's actually funny because I wrestle up from, in your neck of the woods a lot up in Webster, New York, which is not far from Rochester. So
Right.
That's one of my frequent stops. So that's why I thought I'd ask if you were still, in that area.
I'm going to follow you. If you're ever around, I'm going to check it out because I think that stuff is so cool. You have to be in good shape. And I am so into being in good shape.
Well, I have a wrestling school. So if you want to come down and wrestle.
Oh my God. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
I'll come down to get my ass kicked.
You could throw some of my students around. It'll be fine.
Where's your wrestling school?
It's actually just outside of Buffalo. It's in Depew, New York. And we're connected to a gym. And yeah, so we have two rings in there, and we're doing our thing. So if you ever want to come down, we're there.
Wow. I would. I'd say, do you have females that do it? You have some females?
We have in the past. We don't have any currently, but yes, we do accept females doing it.
So you have the senior wrestling squad. No, I'd like to get my ass kicked. That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
You have more energy than my whole class combined.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get my ass kicked. Believe me.
All right, so let's bring it back around to your music here. You said you're really amped up, start playing more. Have you started the writing process yet, or are you still just waiting?
Yeah, I kind of write lyrically all the time, and Vinny writes musically all the time. It's just a matter of us getting it together. We have I'm a Leo. He's a Leo. I'm an Aries. So our relationship is really cantankerous about creativity. So we will see. It's so funny. I actually just said to him, I don't want to do another record. And he was like, what the fuck? I don't want to work with you anymore. So, I know he's very dramatic, but we have started. And I'm on a roll. I can't stop. I can't stop.
How does that work for you now? He's writing music, you're writing lyrics. Is it like whoever brings something to the table first, or do you need to hear the music, or how does that?
Yeah, I need to hear the music. When I write lyrics, I kind of just have these redundant melodies. I don't think in melodies, I don't play guitar or piano. So it's just, I need to get inspiration from a guitar piece or a piano piece. And then I intertwine the lyrics with it. The beauty with Vinny is that he really is a melodic dude, which is, so a lot of times I can't even express it. So he really helps me with melodies, but I do need to hear music. And then I wrap the lyrics around it for sure. Yes.
Have you always been a songwriter like that since the 80s? Or
No, I didn't know I could write a song, Robbie. No. That's why when we got this opportunity, I'm like, I don't know, can I write? Because Chastain did everything. Chastain sent you the blueprint. Do it kind of this way. So yeah, I started it with Leather too. That was 18, and that was really put together really quickly. But I got a hint of it. But we had COVID. We had all this time to do it. So I learned. No, I'm not a songwriter by trade. Believe me. But Vinny is a songwriter, so he helps me a lot.
Oh, that's excellent. And, I just got to point this out too, like women in rock, women in metal, seems like it's become such a more predominant thing in music. And you were one of the first ones out there doing it back in the 80s, especially for rock and metal. And that's got to make you feel good now to see this next generation coming. And there's so many of them out there now. It's got to be amazing for you to see.
It is freaking amazing. I was just down in Brazil and I did a video and a song with a band called Torture Squad. Maya, total cookie monster. And she looks at me and goes, oh my God, you're such an inspiration. Yeah, I am so proud of it. As I'm sure Roxy is also. Women have proved that they can headline tours, they can write music, they can make money. Yeah. I love the Gingers and the Arch Enemies and the Courtney from Spirit Box is like my girl crush. And then of course there's Vixen and myself who are still there. Yeah. So happy. It's not a big deal anymore. Like, the girls. It was so fucking tiring in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Well, everything was, you're good for a girl. You're good for a girl. But now it's just like, now you guys are leading the charge still. You're still out there. Vixen, Doro, Lita Ford.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing your thing, and you're still predominantly featured 40 years later. And that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, God, 40 years later, really. And like I said, I love the new women of today. I hate the whole gender thing, but they're kicking ass, man. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm really proud.
100%.
Really proud. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a really inspirational note to leave this on. But before you go, I want you to plug your social media so that all my listeners can start to follow you if they don't already. And anything else that you have, your website, social media, YouTube, whatever you got.
Yeah, you can go to leatherleone.com. It's all there. Threads. I have a hard time with Facebook, but I'm there. Instagram, YouTube. And like I said, stay tuned because I have a lot of things happening that I can't talk about yet. And I don't want to jinx it, but I'm coming, motherfuckers.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, it was so nice to meet you. And it's so great that you did the show. So thank you so much.
You too, Robbie. Thank you. And I love you and I love your girl. Oh God, I got to get in touch with her right now. Thank you so much.
Rockers, once again, Leather Leone. I appreciate you guys sticking around, checking out this interview, and please give All Bets Are Off a follow on X, Facebook, and Instagram at ABAO Pod. We try and be as interactive as possible, and we are heavily pushing our social media right now. So thank you guys, and we will catch you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.